Andrew Berry also addressed the question, why wasn't the ball fed to Odell Beckham Jr., or why wasn't he more of a focal point? Here's Andrew Berry on that.
Yeah, I guess I would push back a little bit on that notion. I think that, really in the passing game in this system, it's designed to get the mismatch. And I think we have a number of skilled pass catchers. And from week to week to week, that can be a different player. I think the other element of it is, I do think our coaching staff was, very focused on getting Odell involved. I think, if you look at it, first 8 weeks of the season, he was our most targeted pass catcher, and he did it in two fewer games. Now, that being said, being critical of ourselves, I think, Kevin mentioned earlier in the week that, hey, there were moments where he thought he could have done a better job of, exploiting Odell's talents. But, at the end of the day, he was a big part of it. And, it may not have been as smooth as we all would have liked at certain points. But, I think the notion that he was, ignored or anything along those lines, certainly wasn't the case.
And again, Mac, you kind of, you follow the offensive system. It's this is the first read, this is the second read, this is the third read kind of deal. And you can't deviate from that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing is that they've tell me if I'm wrong here, but I do remember last year, beginning of the 2021 or 2020 season, everybody talked about, are they force feeding Odell the ball too much? Are they throwing it to Odell too much? And there was all of that talk between the Ravens game where he got targeted, I think 9 or 10 times, and then even this year, like Andrew Berry said, he's the most targeted receiver on this team, and he was out 2 games. So, do I think that they could have done better with some of the targets? Sure. But to say that they didn't force feed him the ball, I also agree with Andrew Berry saying that I disagree with that. They did give the ball to Odell in certain spots. And again, could the targets have been better? Sure. And I think that, Baker Mayfield isn't without fault here. Kevin Stefanski isn't without fault here. But at the same time, to say they didn't force feed the ball to Odell, I'm not sure what more you could ask for with what they were doing at this point. So, I do think that, they could have gotten Odell involved with better targets, quality of targets. But at the same time, to say that he wasn't getting those targets is, I think, a fallacy in my opinion.